Good morning, my dear students. Welcome back to the second term of this academic year. We are not yet free from the pandemic COVID-19, so we will continue our studies at home. When I was going through your papers, when I evaluated it, I understood that many of you are studying very well, even though the situation is quite different. So I request you to study very well this term also. We'll continue our studies. When it is possible to have school, we'll be having it in the school. Otherwise, we'll be continuing our studies at home itself. For this term, the first lesson we have to study is Uncle Pojo Leaves for Work. I think that this character is familiar to you because you have studied about him in the 5th standard. And now we will study about another incident that happens in the life of Uncle Pojo. Before that, let's discuss something about the author Jerome K. Jerome. Take page number 60 of your textbook. There is some information about the author Jerome K. Jerome. Jerome K. Jerome, 1859 to 1927, was an English author best known for his humorous book Three Men in a Boat. To say nothing of the dog, that is another title of the book. The book became an instant hit and has remained in print since. He wrote several other novels, plays, essays after this, but none of these proved to be as popular as the first work. Three Men on the Bummel was a sequel to the Three Men on a Boat. Okay, when we study about this particular author, I think that you must have seen his book. That is Three Men in a Boat. That is kept in our library. There are many copies of it. When you come to school, take one of the copies and read it. And there are many humorous episodes in the life of Uncle Pojo or some other characters. Okay, and here what is happening in this story that will be given in detail, but it is not taken from Three Men in a Boat. It is taken from Three Men on the Bummel. And altogether, if we say, he is a famous novelist, dramatist, and essayist. And this is a collection of stories. And what is the meaning of sequel? That is given in the end of the description about the author. What is the meaning of sequel? That is a book or story that continues the theme of earlier one, which is the earlier one, Three Men in a Boat. Okay, so you know what is a serial. In the same way, it continues. That means after Three Men in a Boat, this particular sequel, that's a continuation of the first work. The present one is Three Men on a Bummel. Bummel means journey. Okay, and from this particular collection of stories, the particular episode that we have to study is Uncle Pojo Leaves for Work is taken. So let's go into detail about what is happening to Uncle Pojo when he leaves for work. Please take page number 58 of your lesson. Okay, before going to the lesson, let me ask you a question. You tell a lot of things to others. For example, if it is your younger ones, you will be asking them, don't take this one, or don't eat it on time. All these things you will advise them. But are you all practicing it? That's more important. Okay, that means it is easy to tell others to do things, but it is very difficult to practice. Okay, and when we study the lesson of this Uncle Pojo, we see this. He tells a lot of things, but it is very difficult for him to practice it. And such an incident is given in this particular story, Uncle Pojo Leaves for Work. In the beginning, there are some things or some descriptions that tells you more about this lesson. We all get delayed for various reasons. Sometimes the reasons are valid and sometimes we are at fault for causing the delay. Okay, often if we go to school, sometimes our mothers will be advising us we have to be in time. But most often we will be late. Is it our habit, or is it happens occasionally for one day or two? You think yourself. In this story, which is an extract from Three Men on the Bummel, we witness a morning in the life of Uncle Poacher, who invariably gets delayed every day and blames everyone but himself for missing the train. And what is the fault with Uncle Poacher here? He is delayed every day. For that, he is not accusing himself. He is accusing others for his delay. And that's not good. Okay, that means we will be having a lot of mistakes. But that's our fault. That's not others' fault. We should not accuse others for our mistakes. We will see this is a humorous episode. This is a humorous description. Yet we have a lot of lessons to be taken. Because we advise others, but it's very difficult to practice. Okay, let's start the lesson. From my Uncle Poacher's house to the railway station was an 8 minutes walk. What my uncle always said was, allow yourself a quarter of an hour and take it easily. What he always did was to start 5 minutes before the time and run. I do not know why, but this was the custom of the suburb. Many stout city gentlemen lived at Ealing in those days. I believe some lived there still, and caught early trains to the town. They all started late. They all carried a bag and a newspaper in one hand and an umbrella in the other. And for the last quarter of a mile to the station, wet or fine, they all ran. Let's see in detail what is happening here. And who is the narrator of the story? It is not Uncle Poacher who tells the story. Or we cannot say that this is the author who tells the story. It is by, from this description, we can understand that it is described by the niece of Uncle Poacher, because the person calls him as uncle. That's right. Okay. From my Uncle Poacher's house to the railway station was an 8 minutes walk. How far the station and his house was? His house was from railway station 8 minutes walk. Okay, it had distance. You can imagine that how far it will be if it is only 8 minutes walk. Very near, but 8 minutes walk only. And what my uncle always said was, allow yourself a quarter of an hour and take it easily. And he used to advise others that when he start for work, or when you start for a journey, you have to allow yourself, or you have to start before quarter of an hour and take it easily. Okay, that means before 15 minutes you have to start, so that it will be easy for you to reach there and be on time. Okay, that's a very good habit. That means we will not be late if we are starting before 15 minutes. So he used to advise how many minutes he wants in order to reach the 8 minutes. But he used to advise that you have to start before 15 minutes. So definitely you will be there in the railway station when the train comes. He used to advise in such a way, and he knows if you start early, you can reach easily. These things he knows very well. What he always did was, okay, this is the difference between what he said and what he did. And what he always did was to start 5 minutes before the time and run. Okay, he advised that we have to start before 15 minutes. And he used to do what? He used to run when it is only 5 minutes. That means it's not, if it is 8 minutes walk, that means if he starts before 5 minutes, definitely he will not be reaching there. Okay, so he will be running to the station before, since he has started only before 5 minutes. I do not know why, but this was the custom of the suburb. And the narrator is telling that it is not only of Uncle Poacher, everyone of that particular area. Suburb means an area outside the city where the people live. Okay. And those people who lived in that area, all of them did the same thing. That means you can see when it is a time of a train, many people will be running to the railway station. They will not be walking because they won't get train if they walk. They'll be all running because they all are late. Many stout city gentlemen lived in Ealing in those days. I believe some live there still and caught early trains to town. Okay, and you can just imagine if it is by stout gentlemen and women, how beautiful the sight will be. Those who are those who are observing, the sight will be very nice to see because all of them are stout and they are running to the station. That's a good sight to view for others, those who are observing the things. And that particular area is called Ealing. And the narrator is telling that when she is describing the story, these people, some of the gentlemen and women still live in the city, and all of them do the same thing and caught early trains to town. Okay, they all want to go to the trains, but they will be late. They all started late. That was a custom, tradition. Everyone started late. They all carried a black bag and a newspaper in one hand. And you can see this all gentlemen, stout gentlemen and women, they will be holding in one hand a black bag and in another hand a newspaper and an umbrella. Okay, this is a good sight, just like a uniform. You know that if the students are coming to school, they will be having their bag on their back, and sometimes they will be having a tiffin bag in their hand. In the similar way, in one hand they will be having a black bag, and another hand they will be having an umbrella and newspaper. Okay, that's a custom. And for the last quarter of a mile to the station, wet or fine, they all ran. Since they have started late, in order to reach on time, they have to run. So they all started to run to the station when they are about to reach the station. Otherwise, they won't get the train. That was the custom. Folks with nothing else to do would gather on the common of a fine morning to watch them pass and cheer the most deserving. It was not a showy spectacle. They did not run well. They did not even run fast. But they were earnest and they did their best. The exhibition appealed less to one's sense of art than to one's natural admiration for conscientious effort. Okay. And the folks with nothing else to do, you know that there are many people who are observing the things. When we go to our town, for example, Thiruvillamala, and in particular sports, there will be a group of people, they will be looking others, how the others walk, how others act, how others behave. And in this place also there are many people, folks with nothing else to do. They don't have any other work. They are just observing others, and they would gather on a common. Common meaning is given a piece of open land in town or village for public use. Okay, here anyone can come. Just like our village office or panchayat, anyone can come there. That's a property of the government. So here also some people who doesn't have any work, they will be gathering there in order to see this beautiful sight, this gentlemen and women walking to the railway station. And they will come to a fine morning to watch them pass and cheer the most deserving. Okay, that means they will be cheering themselves with this beautiful sight. The maximum they will enjoy. It was not a showy spectacle. What is the meaning of spectacle? Visually striking performance or display. They did not run well. Okay, they could not run well. Why? Because they are stout. Okay, so they did not run well. They did not even run fast. That's also not possible. But they were earnest. Earnest meaning is given the showing deep sincerity. Means maximum effort they have taken in order to reach the station. That is not a fast run but they take their maximum speed. That's the only speed is possible for them to reach there, because they are all stout gentlemen and women, and they were all earnest. They are very sincere in their running, and they did their best. The exhibition. What is the meaning of exhibition? Exhibition means that which we are keeping something in order to see others. Okay, and this is just like an exhibition because others are there to observe. Appealed less to one's sense of art than to one's natural admiration for conscientious effort. What is the meaning of sense of art and natural admiration? Means there are many things that is around us. Those who have an artistic eye only can enjoy certain things, but everyone can enjoy a lot of things, isn't it? Okay, in the similar way, here also this exhibition, this moving of gentlemen and women to the station, that is not enjoyed by one who is having an artistic eye, but everyone. Okay, everyone who is having a natural admiration. That means we all have that natural admiration. We all can enjoy such a sight. That's what the narrator tells. It was not that my uncle did not rise early enough. It was that troubles came to him at the last moment. The first thing he would do after breakfast would be to lose his newspaper. We always knew when Uncle Potter had lost anything by the expression of astonished indignation with which, in such occasions, he would regard the world in general. It never occurred to my Uncle Potter to say to himself, "I'm a careless man. I lose everything. I never know where I have put anything. I'm quite incapable of finding it again for myself. In this aspect, I must be perfect nuisance to everyone about me. I must set to work and change myself." It was not that my uncle did not rise early enough. Why he wanted to run to the railway station? And the narrator is telling that since if we are getting up late, often we will be late for every work. If we want to go somewhere, we will be late. But it is not because he did not wake up early. He woke up early itself, but the narrator is telling that it was that troubles came to him at the last moment. That means automatically troubles, many problems comes to his way when he is about to leave. That's the problem. The first thing he would do after breakfast would be to lose his newspaper. Which are the things he must carry when he goes to the train? First thing is he has to carry a black bag. In another hand, he has to carry an umbrella and a newspaper. Okay, first thing he will be losing newspaper, and after that he will be searching after it. So the time will be running, automatically. And we always knew when Uncle Potter had lost anything by the expression of astonished indignation. What's the meaning of indignation? Anger. When he loses something, he will be expressing his anger towards others. He will be very angry because he feels that others have taken it purposely. With which, on such occasions, he would regard the world in general. That means he will tell that the whole world is against him and the whole world is fault, and he is the only good man in the world because he sees everything in general. Means this is, even if it is happening to a single man or woman, he is not accusing him or her, but the whole world. And it never occurred to my Uncle Potter to say to himself. Never Uncle Potter said or felt sorry for what he has done. And he is always telling that it's mistake of others. It's not my fault. It's a mistake of others. That's why he will never feel regret or feel sorry for what he is doing. And he will never say, "I'm a careless man." We will say that if something happens to us, that's my careless mistake. But he will never admit it. He will say that he will never say that I'm a careless man. I lose everything. Okay, that means even though it is happening every day, he will never accept that I lose everything. I never know where I have to put anything. Okay, I'm quite incapable of finding it again for myself. These words are words of sorry, but he never feels it and he never accuses himself for the mistakes that he has committed. In this respect, I must be perfect nuisance to everybody about me. If it is happening to every day, automatically you will think that, oh, every day I'm disturbing others by losing the things. And when I go to some places, I'm in a hurry, it irritates others. He never thinks of it. But we all will feel in such a way. And I must set to work and change myself. He never thought that he has to change himself. On the contrary, by some peculiar course of reasoning, he had convinced himself that whenever he lost a thing, it was everybody else's fault in the house but his own. But what did he think? Instead of accusing himself, instead of feeling sorry about his own deeds, what he will say, this is everybody else's fault who are in the house, but he himself hasn't done any mistake. All others had committed the mistake, that's why he is losing the things. This is not the mistake of himself. And he will say, I had it in my hand here not a minute ago. He would exclaim. Okay, and he will say that that thing was there in my hand before a minute, and where is it now? From his tone, you would have thought he was living surrounded by conjurers who spirited away things from him merely to irritate him. And when he is asking such a question, the people who listen to him will automatically think that he is surrounded by a number of foolish people. Means all the people who are living in the house are fools, and himself only is intelligent man. That's why he loses the things, and others purposely irritates him by taking the things. All others are fools. He only himself is wise, and that is why he thinks, and we will understand that this is what we understand. Spirited away meaning is given there, to take away rapidly and secretly, seeming by magic. That means unknowingly it's automatically moving away, because there are a number of people lives in the house who are fools. That's why they purposely irritates him. This is what we feel when he asks such a question, because he will say that before some minutes it was there in my hand, and who has taken it? Okay, I think that that's enough for today. We'll continue the lesson the next week, and I'll send you the meanings. Please study it.